Hello everyone, and welcome to another Star Trek Online video. So today we're going to have a look at the legendary Negh'Var, and we're starting this off right here in the trailer where this beauty can be observed. So it's the Kronos 1 skin that has become common for, I guess, legendary ships, which is essentially a Negh'Var with like those or like a grayish hull material, and there are these a bit like sort of golden accents around here, and of course there's the red. So you can of course change the color of that pattern there, and you can also obviously change the pattern itself to a sort of different patterns here. The windows are changeable, as you'd expect. And we've got quite a few materials. So obviously if you like your Negh'Var to be a bit more green, like with traditional colors, you can do so. There is also the Type 4, which is a bit of an aggressive look with all of the additional red here. Then we have these sort of OS materials, which doesn't look too bad. There is of course the Kronos 1. And yeah, more greenish looks. Now, besides the Kronos 1 skin, we obviously have all the other older skins included. You can have your Negh'Var without those spots down here. You can obviously, mix and match those, right, if you wanted to. You can make some mean-looking ships with this. You can also use the Negh'Var skin, right? So, the Negh'Var is, well, that skin has been recently remastered, added to the game, and that looks pretty badass, I have to say. And of course, you can then mix and match if you wanted to. You could do all sorts of things. Whatever your heart desires. Hey, so besides that, of course, you can then have other materials here as well. You can use the Kronos 1 if you wanted to on the Negh'Var here, or you could use this one and then add a pattern to it. For example, this is something that I think looks pretty good here. So definitely a good looking ship for now. I think I'm gonna go with something like this. Now, of course, I've already covered the most important part, the space barbie, but maybe you're also interested in how this ship performs and what it can do. So, bridge officer layout-wise, it's actually the same thing as the Galaxy X Dreadnought, which I personally have no problem with, because I like the Galaxy X Dreadnought, and I think that's a good and versatile ship, and now we have a Klingon version of that. As much as I like my Galaxy X, I don't want to fly around it in a Klingon. I'd much rather be in this beautiful Negh'Var. So, what are we working with? We have a commander, engineering intelligence, a lieutenant commander universal command, a lieutenant commander tactical, a lieutenant science, and an ensign universal. Now, this gives you some options. You can run this with beams or with cannons. You can run it with like fire drill or scatter volley, or you can run it with surgical strikes. So surgical strikes can be a fun option. My Galaxy X is using surgical strikes right now, but here for now I've set up a good old scatter volley build. Now, the maneuverability of this is actually pretty decent with base stat of 10, so you shouldn't have too many problems getting your cannons pointed at the enemy, especially if you like add some turn rate consoles or something like that to it. Now, how have I set this up right now? Let's see. We have the dual heavy cannons in the front. I have a White Arc Herald in there, and I also do have the Dark Matter Quantum Torpedo in, mostly for the set bonus, but I also just like to run with a torpedo for style purposes. Then I'm running the Kitoma 2-piece with the shield and the deflector. That's from an event from last year. And the deflector gives additional anti-proton damage and critical chance. The ER shield has anti-proton retaliation. And then I'm running 2-piece of the Discovery set. Now, you could easily run like a 4-piece Discovery set. You could also run like colon deflector here. You could run different weapon types also. I've just set this up with anti-proton because this is what this character had on its last ship. And I don't mind. Now, I should point out that the trait is sadly pretty bad. The Disruptor Enhancer sounds like a fun thing, and I have tested this on an actually different ship with a Disruptor setup, and it just performs really badly. The damage over time effect doesn't really do a lot of damage, and the explosions would be reasonable. However, the explosions are only triggered after reaching 15 stacks, and a lot of ships die too fast, so you never reach the explosions, which means the trait does barely anything. And then there is a 30-second recharge time, so you don't even have it constantly active. You have it active for 30 seconds and you have 30-second downtime. So they would need to probably increase the dot damage by at least a factor of 10 and give it permanent uptime, and then it might be reasonable. It still wouldn't be great, but then it would probably be reasonable. So hopefully they will do something with it. I guess it probably won't, because they aren't necessarily... Like, let's just be honest, there are a lot of underperforming traits here. So, yeah. I was hoping this would be better than it is, but sadly it's not. So, I'm running anti-proton. Otherwise, I would have switched to Disruptor if this trait would have actually been useful. But anyway, I'm running a bunch of universal consoles like the Proton Eruptor. I'm running micro quantum torpedoes. I'm also running from an event, the Kida's Promise console, which is a pretty good console for anti-proton. I have one ISOMAC. I have so many universal consoles that my ISOMACs had to move aside. I have the particle conversion matrix, custom power matrix from last year's winter event, chronophage, good console on every ship. I've got the shield absorption frequency generator for survivability. I'm running the PRM. I'm running the subspace fracture, so teleport console from last year's summer event. I have the Borg console and the Locust console for the set bonuses and the crit stuff. I'm running some advanced type 7s. So this is essentially just it's not a perfect layout by any means, but it's a pretty strong layout focusing on universal consoles and some survivability. There's some crit in there. So yeah, honestly, this ship, you can build it in many different ways. As I've said earlier, you could just do beams if you wanted to. You could do isomax, like you've got 5 engineering slots. You could do like full isomax, fill it with 7. So there are definitely options. I'm using unconventional systems, which is not to everyone's taste and also is expensive. So there is that. I'm running intertemporal combo here right now. Science kept my way. Not that this matters too much. Now, as far as the traits are concerned, I have repurposed cargo bay because I like pads and superior error denial. I have the particle fluctuation analysis. Now, this trait is from the legendary Nebula, which came in the same bundle. That's an actually good trait. And I can't keep this up 100% of the time with my current setup. But you don't have to. First of all, this doesn't just buff you, it also buffs your team. Which means if somebody else in your team runs the same thing, right, you can add stacks to each other and then potentially get it at maximum stacks all the time. But you gotta keep in mind, if you use like 5 universal consoles, that's 5% crit chance and 50% crit severity and some aux power for everyone in your team, not just for you, for 10 seconds. And if then the stacks decay and then you build up new stacks, you're still getting a sizable bonus out of this trade, even if it's not all up 100% of the time. So I really like this, and I really like the aspect that you buff your team, right? Which is a cool thing, in my opinion. I have First for Battle for even more turn rate, Ruin of your enemies, Withering Barrage, and Emergency Weapon Cycle. So there is obviously a lot you could do with the traits, or there are stronger traits that you can run, but you know, there is a fairly standard loadout here that I use on a lot of ships, I guess. Space Reputation, you have the crit and the crit severity. I have offensive power configuration because I run high aux for the Fleet Network Array. And yeah, the thing is, when it comes to builds, I'm not sure like in how much detail I should or need to go, because quite frankly, the build description would be I'm running dual heavy cannons with a torpedo and a bunch of universal consoles. And you throw in there whatever consoles you like, right? We are at a stage in this game where if you like running dual heavy cannons in the Fleet Power Network Array, you're probably killing things in a reasonable manner. I obviously run unconventional systems on this. As for my stations, I'm using Iconic Turbulence and Electromagnetic Pulse for Uncon. I'm using emergency powered weapons and engines that I cycle. I have my gravity well, I have science uncon triggers, I have scatter volley, beta, torpedo spread, chemosite. And now let's just blow up some things. So let's just go into a wanted. Oh, I should also note the pets that come with this ship are alrightish. They are not the greatest, they're not the worst. From what I've seen, the increasing ranks give them an increasing rapid fire. So it's like rapid fire 1 on the blue ones, rapid fire 2 on the purple ones, and then I don't have the elite ones. I'm currently not using them because if I want to use repurposed cargo bay, I really want a pet where I spawn 6, so I get the most Valkyrie fighters out of it. Also, obviously, we all know the Type 7s are just sort of like the most effective, but not that I care, I guess, that much about, because this, you know, I mean, damage in this game has gone so far that at a certain point you really don't have to worry about this anymore. As you can see, like with my setup, especially during like scatter volley, it turns very well. I could also divide this. It has an enhanced battle cloak, which I haven't mentioned earlier. And there wasn't anything like truly interesting with the accessories that came with it. But yeah, I feel like this is a ship that you are like getting for the ship. I've been waiting a long time for legendary Negh'Var, and I'm very happy that we got one. And I just do like pets, if you've noticed, right? I also have my photonic ones from being a science captain. And then of course I have my Valkyries from the repurposed cargo bay and the Type 7s. So that's quite a few pets. And I mean, you know, the buff UI is obviously not very great. You could pay attention to how many stacks I have from the new trade, but honestly, It's not like I really need them. But I do like the aspect that they buff up my team. And if I'm in a like mission where somebody else is running the trade, then obviously we are going to keep the stacks up a lot easier. Excellent work. Well, and that was the legendary Negh'Var. It's a beautiful ship. It performs relatively well. If you are into energy weapons, it's a great platform, no matter what energy weapons you want to put on it. If you're more into torpedoes, it might not be ideal, even though it does have a lieutenant commander commands, but you would have to give up gravity well for it, which probably I wouldn't be willing to do. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're having some fun with this ship if you decided to pick it up, and I'll see ya next time.